Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the season finale of Choice Chats year 2023. What an incredible ride this little channel that we have produced has become. Millions of views, as I understand it, broke the internet, sending trends on Google Trends. It was quite remarkable to see what we were able to accomplish. But in all seriousness, out of all the events that we do throughout the year, and Kristen, you know this because you've been a part of these, Brian, you too, up and down the state in person. What I find the most intriguing is out of all the events that we do, and out of all the different touch points that we have with the marketplace, this little channel, this little chat gets the most feedback. And that fascinates me. I say that because when we started this, right, it started as an idea. Yeah. Let's just get together. We'll have more casual conversations, things more topical, not necessarily such a heavy emphasis on the business. Really try to give the human aspect sometimes of what we do, and really just to be in a place of authenticity. And here we are in the season finale. I mean, guys, isn't it crazy when you think about it?
We did break the internet. You know what's funny? I don't want to say we're as big of a deal as the Kardashians, but I think, they renegotiated from E to Hulu. I think we're ready for our podcast debut. Spotify, are they going to pick us up for this? Just wondering for next year. Could happen.
We should really start looking out and seeking representation is what I would say. I think we're about that time. But before we do that, I got to tell you, as fun as this has been, and it has been, and I'm kind of sad that this is the last, right? The season finale for 2023. But to me, I swear to you guys, it just feels like something is missing. I feel it. I mean, do you guys?
Yeah.
Definitely. There's a hole here in this last episode, and I can't quite figure it out, but something is definitely missing.
Ho, ho, ho! Ho, ho, ho!
What is that? Do you guys hear that?
Oh, come on.
Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, it's so nice to see all of you once again. Oh, David and Kristen and Brian, three of my favorite people. Dave, I've been checking my list, and I've been checking it twice.
Wow.
Come to find out if you're naughty or nice. And Dave, little bumpy road this past year. Little bumpy road.
Kristen, a little touch and go.
It is a little touch and go, But I will tell you this. I do appreciate Choice Chats. There's not a segment that I've missed. I've watched them all. I've seen all of them, and I'm really excited to see what happens in 2024.
My goodness. Well, listen, if there was anyone who's bestowed a gift upon us, it certainly was the man himself. Thank you for being here, Santa Joe. My goodness, we are so excited. And thank you for gifting us Choice Chats. The timing appropriate now that you're here. If you don't mind, do you have a minute?
I do. I heard you were filming today, and I just want to join. I know someone's missing, but that's okay. The three of you are holding down the fort. I'm really excited about that, and so is everyone else. I know all of our viewers are excited. They're anticipating what's going to happen this episode. So, Dave, the floor is yours.
Well, listen, I appreciate that so much, and I'm going to try to be a good elf. And since you're here, I think it'd be appropriate to ask you, maybe Kristen, Brian, if it's okay, we might ask our special guest to join with us in one of the topics that we have today.
You mean I can participate?
You know what? Listen, there is no better subject matter expert for this topic than you, Santa. We're so glad you could join us. We wanted to reminisce, if you don't mind, Santa. We know it's a busy time of year for you. Listen, for us, it's fourth quarter for you. We know you're in the workshop. You're making the toys. You're getting ready. We're gearing up. But if you don't mind, Santa.
Quarter all year long, Kristen. The elves are in a scurry. They're working harder than ever. It's been a busy year. So, yes, I can relate to your fourth quarter. It's fourth quarter all year long.
Santa, I'm going to try to get to this question. My question for you, Santa. Please. Listen, California Choice, the program that we are here to represent today, started in 1996, and we thought it would be fun to reminisce.
I remember.
Santa, in 1996, would you refresh our memory? What was the hottest toy in 1996? I'm sure the elves in the shop were busy with one toy in 1996. What was it?
Oh, that's an easy one. In 1996, It was a Nintendo 64. It was the hottest gift. Those were flying off the shelves. The elves couldn't keep up with the distribution and the demand.
You know, it's so
You want to know what the number 2 toy was?
Oh, I'd love to hear.
I know, Brian. Matter of fact, I think you had it on your list. It was a Tickle Me Elmo.
Santa, that
Hottest items. We couldn't keep up with the request. Every letter we saw, every demand. Give me a Tickle Me Elmo. Give me a Nintendo 64. But Brian, you asked for something else really special that year. Do you remember what it was?
I think I do. Do you remember?
I do. It was a BMX bike, Chrome Dino VFR. Do you remember that?
Oh my goodness, I do remember. That was one of my favorite gifts I've ever received.
It was a joy for us to make it. We were really excited there
Oh my
up in
gosh.
the North Pole. And Kristen, do you remember what you got?
I actually do, Santa. It was a great year for me. I remember just for me, you delivered down the chimney a handheld Game Boy in 1996. I'll never forget it.
And you played with it constantly. I remember your mother would say, "Get off the Game Boy and do your homework." I remember that. Those are some good days. But,
Wow.
fast forward, we have new gifts, and we're excited about everything that we're making this year. It's going to be a great year. Do you agree?
I agree. I got to share with you too, Santa. And again, thank you for being here today,
Thank
along
you.
with my friends here for the season finale of Choice Chats. And we talked about what was really popular in 1996, and obviously that was the birth year of California Choice. And you know what's interesting too, as we start talking about the holiday season, it has been the gift that keeps on giving. We continue to do that, and we continue to serve the audience and serve the employer groups, our broker partners, our general agent partners. It is not only our duty, it is the right thing to do. And so it's really cool to be here. And so 1996 was an incredible year. I know Tickle Me Elmo is a big deal, but California Choice to me, in my mind, is much bigger. And what a great place to be and to really be a part of it. So, Santa, I know you're busy.
Yes,
And I know you got to get going, but my
go.
goodness, on behalf of Brian Coppin, on behalf of Kristen Berthium, myself, Dave McClintock, Santa, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Santa.
Merry Christmas to you.
Oh,
Yes.
David, Brian, Kristen, I just want to say you three are special. But there is someone that I know is on the good list this year, Joseph. You make sure when you see him, you give him a good job and a kudos. He's doing a great job. But I do want to leave you with this. Seeing is believing. I want you to know that. But sometimes the most real things in the world are the things that you can't see. So everybody still believe Santa's here. We're excited. And we'll see you all. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great rest of the year. And we'll see you very, very shortly.
Wow.
That was awesome.
What a treat.
That was a treat. My goodness.
We're going to have to get back to business. Wow, that was quite the introduction to Choice Chats, you guys. I got to be honest, I didn't see that coming. I enjoyed every minute of it, though, nonetheless. I wish Joe had been here. I wish he had been here.
I really do.
Guys. Oh, man. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Joe.
So sorry I'm late. I don't like to usually be tardy to our Choice Chat, our podcast that we host here. I'm so sorry. I apologize. Did I miss anything?
We'll tell you about it later, Joe. It was a lot. A lot happened. We'll fill in the details later. We're going to get into it, Joe. We're just going to dive straight into business here. Glad that you're here. Glad you could make it. Let's get into our first topic, shall we?
All
right.
Some of my cookies I had here. It's really weird.
It's odd.
I don't know.
We have a feeling we know what happened. We'll tell you later. All right.
Okay. Cool. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys holding down the fort.
Absolutely. All right. So this first segment, we're going to call this segment Hear Me Out. All right. Now, this is a segment where we have the opportunity to address something that is a widely debated topic amongst our broker partners in the marketplace. And we get a lot of feedback on this. And the question is really, why is it that California Choice can't do X like the rest of the direct market. Now,
Oh,
X can be a number of things, right? You can
yeah.
fill in
Yeah.
the blank, but we'll start with a topic that comes up pretty frequently. Dave, you know, we hear this all the time. Why is it that California Choice cannot limit plans on the quote? Why is that? The rest of the direct market does it, as I understand it. David, why does Cal Choice not take that position?
It's such an interesting question. Thank you for posing that. Did we pull that one out of the jar? Is that how we did that? Just pulled it right out of the hat?
Yeah, pulled it right out of the hat.
Well, I'm glad you did.
I have to imagine.
Yeah, well, I'd agree, right? So these are just the content that continues to come up. So I guess the first statement is, well, in all likelihood, we probably could, right? It's programming. So all you have to do is go program it into, the quoting mechanisms, have it do it into the systems, and later have it in the output. I guess the real question has become, why would we do it, right? And I say that because from the viewpoint of where we stand today, right, it kind of goes back to our mission, right? Simplify healthcare access to the people that we serve, right? Offering more choices. And if we were to limit that, who becomes then the purveyor of what is showcased, right? Whose decision is it? And it really does go against exactly what we're trying to do, which is empower the consumer. And the way you empower the consumer is you give them all the options, you educate them on their choices, you consult them during their choices so that they feel comfortable with what they are electing. And I know this may seem a little bit of a different approach, especially in our business, because in many cases it's a curated offering to an employer group. But I always go back and say, with as diverse as the audience is here, how would you really know what people want? And I don't think that you do. I don't think that you ever do. And that's why we don't limit it. It's a principle-based decision. And I'm glad the audience asked this, because that's precisely why we do it. If you look at all the different options that we have in the program today, I think one could argue that seems to be a lot, and some may even go as far as saying it could be sometimes overwhelming. I don't think it is. I don't think that we give the consumer enough credit to make those decisions, because quite frankly, I think people can, in many cases, look at plans and ultimately determine just on a rate worksheet what they can afford.
Yeah.
I mean, it eliminates, I don't know, a third of the plans at that point. Do I want to go here? Do I want to go there? So that's the reason why we don't do it. We believe philosophically that it is our duty as a private exchange, as a marketplace to the people that we serve, that you have to have the most options. And having the most options means you showcase them all.
And you know what? You use a term that I think is really important when you start talking about what it is that we do in this industry and this line of work, and that is to serve consumers. That is our role. That is what we are here to accomplish. We are here to serve the end user and our customers, right? And our customers include our GA partners, our broker partners, the members who elect our health plans. And so we are here to serve. And it's interesting, David, you talk about why can't California Choice do it the way the direct market does it? And in some cases, the direct market is allowing you to choose specific networks and a certain number of plans based on the number of subscribers that you have enrolled. And that can be limiting as well. So, we've always maintained an agnostic position in that we are here to serve the consumer. And it's ultimately, it's a very personal sort of industry that we operate within, and it is up to the end user to make those decisions. And so I think that you've said it really well. We're here to serve, and that's for the end member to make that decision.
I agree. And a great topic to bring up too. I want to thank the feedback loop for actually producing that. We asked for this at the end of Choice Chats too. What questions do you have? And you got to be careful what you ask for, Joseph, because when the audience asks, you have to address it, right?
Yeah, no, you certainly do. It goes back to storytelling. When you go out, and Brian knows this, when we go out and pitch our brand and our message, you can't help but to tell personal stories. And when I think about choice and options, I can't help but to relate it to a personal setting. When we go to restaurants, when you go purchase things, you want options, you want choices. I don't want to be restricted, Dave. And I don't want anyone to restrict me.
Right.
And so having options gives that sense of ownership, and I want to be able to own the decision that I make. And what we do here at Choice Administrators, we give the ability for the consumer to do so. Own the choice that you make and have options available.
And I think I touched on this, and we all did on our last episode where we talked a little bit more personally, but for me, I've benefited from this greatly. I've bounced from, 4 different carriers through my life cycle here with having kids, getting married, single, and it's been able to accommodate me really nicely as my specific dynamic at home has changed as well. So I'm very grateful for that.
Awesome.
I think we addressed it. I mean, we covered all the bases. I mean, but I love that you say, David, I mean, I guess we could, but why would we, right? So we're
Right.
going to continue to maintain a position where we serve the end user in the way that we feel is most accommodating, and that means choice. So with that said, shall we transition to something a little bit lighter? We are here. It's festive, the holiday season. I love a classic game of Would You Rather, but we're going to
come on.
I'm sorry. We got to do it. We just got to take a quick break. We're going to get into a game of Would You Rather, and it's going to be the holiday edition. Okay. So we're going to keep this festive. All right.
Do it.
Let's do it. So are you ready? I got a feeling Joe's going to be really invested in this game. I'm just something tells me that he's in the holiday spirit. Joe, would you rather be an elf in Santa's shop or a reindeer on Santa's sleigh?
Ooh.
Wow.
I think I'd rather be a reindeer on the sleigh.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
No, okay.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be a reindeer on the sleigh. I want to go from house to house, right?
Yeah.
I want to, park with Santa, let him go down the chimney, him come back up, tell me the stories and the kids that are sneaking out of bed and the things that he's seen. I want to be on a road trip because remember,
be part of the experience.
Not about the
Yeah.
distance.
Yeah.
Joe, imagine
right.
that passport's going to be working overtime if you're on the sleigh.
Oh,
You're
it's
making it around the world in one night. Fantastic. Okay. A different would you rather, this one a little bit less silly. Let's Brian or David, whoever wants to take it. This is going to make you scratch your head. Would you rather relive a past holiday or get to travel to a future holiday? So you get to choose. Is there a specific holiday you would rather go back to and relive? Or are you going to choose a year in the future and travel to that holiday? Which is your preference?
Go ahead, Brian.
I mean, we talked about it. I'm going to go all the way back to 96 and I'm going to relive that BMX bike and be the first one in CalChoice. So definitely going back in the past.
Well played. Well
Well
played.
said.
Okay. Last but not least on the would you rather front, we're kind of getting away from the holiday festivities. Dave, this one's for you. Would you rather work from the office or work from home?
Oh, controversial topic.
Controversial topic.
Controversial
I know. That was a hard
topic.
left that took us down. Yep.
Yeah.
Elf.
Yeah, I want to be careful. There's a lot of people that watch this. We address this to millions of people. So
Millions.
you got to be careful what you say. Once you put it on the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
That's what they say. I would say this. My own personal preference would be working from home. It would be.
Mhm.
And I say that because we really didn't know otherwise, right? So we have to really go back to, I know we've been going a lot back to 1996. I won't go back that far, but I will go back to year 2020, more specifically, the pandemic. And we were forced to, in many cases, because of shutdowns in several counties in California, to begin to morph our business into something that was entirely different and start using media and channels that we historically had not used in order to not only maintain what we were doing and maintain the people that we serve, but continue to advance our brand. And at first, when I think back of how we were doing it, when I say doing it, just working from home, I remember some of the challenges that we experienced, right? So ensuring that people had even the right amount of bandwidth on the internet. I remember that, staff calling in, and I swear to you, some people I felt had dial-up still, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't connect to Outlook, right? It was one of those.
Mhm.
And I think about where we're at today, and as an organization, how much efficiency, or how I should say, how many efficiencies we've been able to garner in a post-COVID environment. Our inside sales team, as an example, we more commonly refer to them today as digital sales. And why do we do that? Because they are available everywhere all the time. And that was different. And the ability to bring people in through channels like this, through other media platforms, it has really extended the reach of our brand. And so I think from just an efficiency standpoint, that has been really, really good. And that's what would be my preference. I'll also tell you on a personal front too, as a consumer.
I was waiting. Uh-huh.
Oh, I will,
Yeah.
gas prices being what they were. Yes, I would
Mhm.
much rather work at home. Time
Yes.
saved and not being in traffic. Yes, I'd much rather work at home. And so, again, that's a personal preference. There are some items that I think you do miss that are in the office, and it's all the people, right? It's our company
Yeah.
culture that we have built that I do miss. But what's interesting, Kristen, even with our company, all remote,
Mhm.
it still has not stopped our in-person engagement. In fact, this is crazy. This year alone, we have completed over 105 events, I think it was, up and down the marketplace. And when I say events, that's not, we don't count one-on-one meetings. We don't count the coffee or tea get together. We don't count those. We are talking about in-person engagement on a grander scale in the marketplace with our broker and our GA partners, in some cases, even with our groups. And it's interesting because yes, we are primarily remote, but our engagement in the field with people in person has also never been greater. Right, Brian?
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
been pretty awesome. And I'd love to share some of the highlights. And this was kind of a fun exercise for me because, you get caught up in the hustle and the bustle and the everyday, and you kind of forget a little bit. So when I was getting ready to do this, it's like, okay, go look through and pick, 5 or 6 of the events that you want to share. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And I start digging through the pictures and the events of all of the staff up and down the state that uh, put on these.
Mhm.
It's like, wow, we did do that many events and we did do so much in a year that it's pretty astounding. So I want to share just a few of the highlights up and down the state. And I think they do a really good job. Um, and I think we do a really good job of getting out, even in this COVID, right? It transformed our industry. We are able to be more efficient with Zoom, but I manage our field sales and we need to be out in the field and engaging on a different level in tandem with the inside sales. So a few of these were really cool and unique where we were partnering with our GAs, our carrier partners, and some of our agencies out in the marketplace. So I kind of started at the top and worked our way down the state. Up
Mhm.
in the North Bay territory, we did Fleet Week about a
This looks
month
cool.
ago.
This looks
That's
Uh,
really cool.
FOMO. I mean,
Yeah.
that is, first of all, that photo in the middle with like the jets flying by, that looks like a professional, photo,
Oh
Brian.
yeah.
Those
Major.
F-16s flying over the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Super
yeah,
cool.
it was really cool, right? You're out on the bay, these planes are flying right over top of you, and you see the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. You feel it. So it was a very unique experience where, you know, secretly look, you see the one on the boat, these brokers can't go anywhere, so they got to talk to you, right? We're engaging. Nowhere to go.
Right.
You're
Oh, is
going to
that the
talk to me
secret?
one way or another.
That's
Well,
a
Dave,
secret.
either trapping them on the boat or taking them to Alcatraz in the background over
I'm
there.
not sure what he was doing.
Hey,
This
if
is
they're on the
choice
naughty
chats,
list,
though.
if they're on the
Yeah.
naughty list. So next, moving down into Sacramento, this was a cornhole tournament. I know these get done, but this was really cool. It was a great turnout. Look how many people came out. It was a great time. The weather was beautiful. You can see all the carrier partners and GAs that partnered up. So just a great feel-good moment where everybody can get together, enjoy a little fun, and take a break from the business at hand.
For
That was
sure.
We moved down into the Central Valley, that Fresno area. There's some of our finest that put on the events. And this was one of them that I thought was a nice spin. They don't have a Top Golf. And, when you do a full golf tournament, that's a whole day. This was a virtual golf tournament at one of their local driving ranges
Mhm.
where they could put on Pebble Beach and kind of play a course right there instead of, taking 8 hours to go through a whole tournament. You could get this done in a couple hours, get back to your day, but still have
Wow.
some quality time together.
Super cool.
This was a cool one in West LA, and East LA too joined as well. So this was the entire LA market. They rented out some VW buses, very on trend here with California Different,
For
and
sure.
did a little tour around Malibu and got to engage. And, no surprise here, close quarters, you're going to get some quality engagement there as well and have a little fun socializing together.
So cool.
The annual bocce ball tournament, this is blown up in Orange County. Both of those territories combine and do an annual bocce ball tournament. The broker partners love this. You can see a lot of cool swag, a fun time out playing bocce ball. And if you've never done that, you need to check that out ASAP. A very fun time.
Brian, I'll tell you too, personally, I was actually there. I could see myself in the photo. I had such a good time. And what's really cool with this event in particular is how serious the competition gets towards the end of the game.
Oh my gosh.
It,
Yeah.
it gets serious, you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
a good time. And I encourage people, if you're in any one of these vicinities, when we have these events, you got to come out. They're just so worth it.
Yeah.
We had our very own doing the reffing. Look at that.
Yeah, isn't that
Right.
great?
We come correct.
Fun.
And real quick to wrap up here, it's not all fun and games the whole time. San Diego did a great event here where they partnered up with Kaiser and did a facility tour. So yeah, we have fun, but we can also tie that into some educational pieces, tour in these facilities, have a better understanding of what these carriers and the medical field really can bring. So it gives those brokers some insight and they can share that to the end user of the consumer, right? And why that's important and why they should be looking and consulting one way versus another. So hopefully this gives you a preview of what we did. It was a great year in 2023, and in 2024, we're going to continue to expand on this and do some new nuanced things and look outside the box as well. So stay tuned there.
Super cool. Brian, thank you for sharing that. It's just so awesome. It really
Yeah.
was. It's kind of interesting when you go back and look, and we only highlighted a few of those events, but having an opportunity to be a part of them and the ability to engage with people in a different manner. It is so cool. And it is on brand, right? California different in the way we do things. And a virtual golf game in Fresno, does it get any more different than that? Really? Right?
That's so
So
fun.
good.
I think it goes back to the point too, is engagement is, effective engagement means something different for different audiences. And you want to be able to kind of meet people where they're at. And it's important, everybody's got options now, whether you're working from home, you're working remotely, people have different preferences. I'm sure even for us on this call, some of us might prefer to be in an office versus working from home, but we do our best as an organization to try to meet people where they're at and engage in ways that are meaningful. And one thing in particular, I think about Choice is how we have transitioned to keep our employees engaged amid a virtual environment as well. You have to be conscious of your company culture, and that's not just your brand for external users. That's also, what does your brand mean for the people that are representing it day in and day out? And
Yeah.
Joe, Dave, you guys have done in particular a really fantastic job of ensuring that your teams at Choice are engaged in spite of working in a virtual environment. I thought it might be appropriate to share a little bit about what that looks like in case some of those that are listening in have some interest in understanding virtual engagement.
Yeah, here I'll take it first.
Please.
Some of the things that we do, we've talked about doing events up and down the state and traveling out and seeing everybody and we certainly do all those things. It's important that we stay engaged and we stay connected. One of the things that my team does a little different outside of that, maybe your team out there does this too, but one of the things that we do is we created a text chat. We have a lot of members on the team that treat each other like families, and I like to say our entire team does that. And we like to stay up to date of what's going on. We've had some members on my team specifically that have, just welcomed new members to their family. They've gotten married, myself speaking of. So there's been a lot of different things that have gone on in my particular team, and it's great to see where everyone's at. And so we've created a text chat. And every couple of days we share pictures and, we share what everyone's doing. If you're out, having coffee or, some new photos of your, new family member walking or crawling, whatever.
Yeah.
but we really try to stay in tune of what's going on. And so those are some of the things that we do. And then of course we get together and we try to go to lunch every so often and just really try to stay in engaged, because I think one of the things that we really were proud of when we were in the office is that we would stay connected in that way. We'd go to lunch, we'd go to dinners, and you can't do that now, or at least you don't do it as often. But we try to make
Certainly.
intentional effort to still get together. And if we can't, at least we're texting each other. And we try to do that on a daily basis. So again, those are some things that we do with my particular team.
Yeah.
Really cool. Thanks for sharing, Joe. For my division, we do a number of different things. I'll touch on a few of them though. So every week, and it's I think more on like the business end, every Monday at 8:30, even begrudgingly sometimes for some folks, we have a call. And we start off the week right. And we have a lot of open forum during those dialogues that we meet. And we do a number of different things. Some of them are business related task items. But moreover, it's just kind of the free flow of either different ideas, different creative concerns in some instances, areas, rumblings, rumor, and innuendo. But it's just really an easy avenue and venue, I would say, for people just to really express themselves, right? And we encourage that quite a bit. We also do events throughout the year. I think those things are important. We also do employee acknowledgement throughout the year, certain milestones, as you guys know, right? By the way, speaking of gifts that keep on giving, celebrating my 10th year with the company.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Really
It's a
cool.
big milestone.
It's a huge milestone. And I'm super proud to be here. Love where I'm at today. Wouldn't change a thing. But we also do that same acknowledgement for our employees and our staff. Outside of that, to your point, Joe, we didn't have necessarily, I think, an exchange or a group text with individuals about, how was your week and how was this? You know what we had though? We did have a group text going. We actually had one that was a workout thread, believe it or not. There's 10 to 15 people on there, and somebody will usually start off with like, hey, did you get your workout in today? But see, the thing was you had to include a picture as proof.
Yeah.
Right.
Receipts, gotta have receipts.
Yeah, gotta have receipts. And it was so cool to see just starting like throughout the day, because people working from home. If you're Brian Coppin, you had a Peloton.
Yep.
Brian Coppin, he's taking an early lunch and he's running 4 miles in 50 minutes, and he's sending you a text saying, did you guys work out today? Now, meanwhile, I just got out of like 6 meetings, right? And everything else is happening. But what it did do was this: it created another level of engagement.
Yeah.
And two, to create another level of motivation. The last piece I'll say in terms of engagement is I think it's really an opportunity for leaders to excel. And what I've seen, not here, but what I've heard from other individuals, and what I've heard really from friends and people that I know in different professional environments, is in many cases there's an expectation for employees to engage, but the leadership won't. And you got to walk that walk. So, one of the fun things that we did not too long ago here as a company, I don't know if you guys remember, it was a virtual event, but it was, we had it and they broke us out into segments, and it was guess that song or name that song. And you would think, well, do I have to go to this? And you really have to. You're a leader and you should be present. And not only should you be present, you should want to win. And I tried my damnedest to win that thing. I didn't. I wanted the gift card. You know what I mean? But I think in that respect, if you really want engagement, you got to be a part of it. Don't ask the audience to do something that you aren't willing to do yourself. And so as far as the engagement goes, I think the reason why we're so successful at it is because we enjoy it. We want to engage with each other, and it's good for the company. It's good for the company culture. And really, it's just good for us as humans, right? It's good to have that interaction. So I really appreciate that question, because we get that asked a lot, and you just got to be authentic about it. You really do.
I'll add just one thing too, that you use the word culture, and I think that's a testament to our culture here within our own organization. And it shows the trust, the bond, the relationship that we build over the years. And even with new individuals that come on, we really try to quickly engage with them in that way, so they begin to feel that they are part of the family.
Right.
Don't take that word lightly. We don't use it like a 4-letter word. We really mean it.
Right.
And again, it's a testament to the company culture. And so I encourage anybody out there, take heed to that, continue to promote and encourage. It is a different environment. It really is. But I think as you continue to build and engage with your employees, you can really create something cool out of it. So.
Well said. It does take work. It doesn't happen. It requires effort on all fronts at every level of the company to ensure that you're being engaged and that you're, invested in what it is that you are contributing day in and day out. With that, I want to transition into our very last segment of the day, which we're going to call TPA Traditions. All right.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to go into TPA Traditions, talk a little bit about some of our traditions personally as well as professionally. David, in this time of the year, one of my favorite TPA traditions?
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
I'm sure you would. It would be the opportunity where we have never worked harder for lower participation. That would be our special enrollment period. It is near and dear to my heart. It really is. We are currently in the midst of our special enrollment period. We're all familiar with this, right?
Yes.
We certainly are.
Yeah.
We certainly are.
This is the opportunity for everybody to go out and collect your low participation, your no contribution, your 11/15 through 12/15 for a 1/1 effective date. David, the ACA sometimes is the gift that keeps on giving. It really is.
Certainly is. So I guess let me give you a different lens from it if I can. Since we're just chatting and it's choice chats, and it's my choice to do it this way, okay?
Do it.
If you actually look at the data that comes in from the groups that come in during the special enrollment period, by and large, the data has told us since we started tracking this a couple of years ago, is the majority of those groups are virgin groups. They don't have coverage, in other words, right? So they come to us with no solution whatsoever. And it really is their first experience, potentially exposure as an employer group to want to extend an employee benefits package to the employees. And to your point, listen, I bear witness to it because I've been during some of those enrollments. I could tell you guys stories. We don't have enough time. We'd be in choice chats next season. But they do propose challenges sometimes. And I think for a lot of parties involved, primarily because you have an employer that at least is going through the steps to want to do the right thing. And then you have employees that are kind of gauging that out, assuming what they can and can't afford. But here's what's really cool about this special enrollment period. Is number one, I touched on this earlier, that you have employer groups that have never offered coverage, actually taking that first step. And maybe this is the only way that they can get in. Kristen, you used the term earlier. Meeting people where they're at, right? This sometimes does that. The other piece to that, though, too, is what's really cool to watch is if you look at the groups over their tenure with us, is more often than not, they grow. And so it's really good to be a part of it. Does it pose as challenges? Brian knows this, right? Brian, they're tough, right? Tougher than a $2 steak sometimes, right? But being a part of it and being able to, even for, I remember a group in Los Angeles, there was probably like 73 eligible, and we walked away with like 3 applications. But those people were so happy, added their dependents, and it was, listen, that's what we do this for. Yeah, that's what we do this for. So.
Yeah, I say it in jest, but to your point, you do have to meet people where they're at. And this is the first opportunity for some people and many employer groups to be able to sample what it means to have an employer-sponsored health plan. So we support those efforts. We're going to continue to do it. It is here for 2024 as well. And before we close on today, I did want to do one last opportunity for anyone here to share not just their professional TPA tradition, but maybe something a bit more lighthearted, your own personal, maybe year-end or holiday tradition.
Oh, I'm sure Brian has one.
Brian,
you have one, Brian?
I do have a good one. Every year, so I'm located up in the Sacramento region in Northern California. Back not as far as 96, but this is actually 10 years we've been doing this tradition. So 10 years ago, we started this. I was single guy living in a house with 2 other dudes, and we thought it would be fun to really get into the Christmas spirit. And we drove up to Apple Hill and we cut down a Christmas tree. And we kind of did
was that legal?
Hill experience.
Was that legal to do that? It was legal, right?
You have a permit for that?
This one was, yes.
Okay.
This was legal at a Christmas tree farm.
Christmas tree.
Cut it down. brought it home, put it up, decorated it, maybe had a few adult beverages. It was a great time. And it was way more fun than we ever expected it was. It was kind of joking at first, but we have continued this tradition now. This is our 10th year doing it. And we're actually looking to do a party bus this year and do it and really go all out. So it's one of my favorites. It really gets me in the spirit.
Brian, that is a fantastic tradition. I expected nothing less of you. Even though you're living in a house and sharing with two other guys, you guys are going to get in the festive, the spirit and get out there and cut down a tree. Like I said, I hope there was a permit involved for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Certain.
With that, I will say this is probably my new favorite TPA tradition. I look forward in 2024 to coming back and reflecting on all the things that we've accomplished, including the launch of Choice Chats. And I fully anticipate that at this time next year, I'll be here with all of you and really having an opportunity, like I say, to reflect on what we've been able to accomplish, both, personally and professionally. And this is my new favorite, Choice Chats end of year TPA tradition. So thank you guys for coming on this journey and participating. It was kind of a wild idea that just came to fruition. I've had a lot of fun along the way, and it's because I was able to participate with some of the people that I enjoy the most. So thank you. It's been fun.
We were picked up for season 2.
I hope
I
so.
think we will be. I think we will be. Yeah,
I hope
why
so.
not? Right?
We're going to ink the deal.
Joe, so this is the time that we close.
It is.
And we typically turn this over to you because Joseph's always closing. He is the closer.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, during the Choice Chats, when we get ready to wrap this thing up and wind it down, Joe, we usually give away a little bit of swag. And you're always in the giving mood. I know that.
We do. We're excited about that. And we do have some cool swag. And we got cool swag coming out in 2024 as well. But we want to end the year and give away a couple of items. So I encourage somebody, one of our viewers, or actually, let's do 3 of our viewers this time.
Okay.
3 of our viewers right now, go ahead and submit any new content that you would like to see in 2024 from a programming standpoint, portfolio, any everyday topics that you'd like us to talk about. And share even maybe certain stories you'd like. So I encourage 3 of our viewers today, go and submit those. You can email them directly to myself or any of my colleagues here, and we'll be certain to pull those names, and you'll receive some cool swag items from 2023.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Well, on that note, on behalf of my colleagues here, Mr. Brian Coppin, Ms. Kristen Berthew, Mr. Joseph Hernandez, I am David McClintock. Joseph, it wouldn't be a close if you didn't close it the right way. So I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Fair enough. Again, as David said, I want to thank everybody for joining us on this final episode of Choice Chats. On behalf of everybody on this call and behalf of our special guest at the beginning of the call, we'll see you in 2024.